Hello, welcome to Vietnam. Finding Southeast Asian authors can be really tricky, so I'm very excited to have found Dumb Luck. It wasn't the book that I was hoping that I would originally find, because I got this absolutely wonderful, lovely comment many months after I made my very first Reading Around the World vlog from this person who just had these incredible suggestions. Vietnamese authors who have been translated into English. And I'll leave the full comment here for you to check out because I saw a few of them in the store and I'm planning to read all of them at some point. But for this vlog, I'm going to be reading Dumb Luck. So this book was banned for a really long time, I think until the mid-80s. That was mostly due to his portrayal of sexuality, frankness that the author had around some of that. As far as I understand, we are following a young man who is rising through the ranks from the very bottom to the top of Vietnamese society during the colonial period, like late colonial stage. It says, from the filthy sidewalks of Hanoi's old commercial quarter to the gaudy mansions of the emergent Francophile northern upper classes. This masterful English translation richly captures the novel's humor, richly drawn characters, clever plot, and preoccupation with sex, fashion, and capitalism. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to be in Vietnam and Hanoi. I've been wanting to come here for so long. I'm excited to try the egg coffee, which the idea of grosses me out, but I'm also at the same time pretty sure it's going to be delicious and I will love it. So I'm going to do that in the morning. I'm going to start reading Dumb Luck, and I'm going to come to you with my thoughts very soon. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because this is what I really wanted to do for this little vlog series that I've been working on over the last few years. You know, because even though I had not heard of this author until that lovely person left me a comment, this is proof that like we know that even if the books aren't the top 100 on TikTok these days, that doesn't mean that there isn't this incredible, rich literary collection and history and tradition all around the world. And I'm so excited to get into that, and I'm obviously exhausted. So I'm gonna stop talking because I can't do words, but I'll see you in the morning. Are we supposed to stare it in? Probably right. Can't cook anything.
You can go inside and let him stay here and learn. There's the opportunity. I will train him for you.
Okay, perfect. I want to take pictures.
It's a stream for you.
We had egg coffee, which I loved. It's okay. I'm having more fun now the lights are off. Oh yeah, okay, so prawns, the bean, the squid,
Octopus.
or octopus, yeah. And then the egg. Ah, so they cook it, I see how they cook it flat and then they...
You put it here.
This
You
one?
put the chili inside this.
Oh, okay. Chili inside the sauce and then
you
I
roll
roll and then I dip it.
It's good?
Mm-hmm. Okay, hopefully I don't look like a scary skeleton or something in the dark outside. I'm putting my feet in the pool because it's still so hot out, even though it's like 9 p.m. But I didn't do a whole lot of reading while I was in Hanoi. I don't know where my book is. I think it's inside. We only had a couple of days while we were there, and so we were just busy exploring as much as we possibly could and getting a little bit of historical and political context for Vietnam. I am going to mispronounce almost everything in this vlog. I was trying to learn some of the tonal markings so I could sound things out, but I've just come to accept that I'm just not very good at it, and that must take a lot of practice. But we went to Halo prison, the Revolution Museum, and to see Ho Chi Minh's body in the mausoleum, like the entire complex that was dedicated to him, which was crazy and like amazing and kind of creepy because he was like illuminated with a red light, which was not something we were prepared for. But he looked pretty good for 50 years old, I gotta say. But I think what has been interesting so far on boat the trip for me, most of all, is that I feel like I already had a little bit of context for Vietnam and like the history, but I just feel like I got so much more, so much respect and admiration for Vietnam and like the Vietnamese people in having so much resilience through the French gleefully guillotining political prisoners through the 20th century, like the Japanese during World War II, China invading the Khmer Rouge, being funded by the US and causing problems for them and having to fight them, and then the whole American imperialism and like American war, Vietnam War. I'm gonna link to a really good video that gives a lot more history and context for some of that information, because I feel like I'm not actually a very good person to explain it, because obviously I'm still learning, but I will link the channel and the creator down below because her videos are just so well explained, and I think just gives so much important context from a more Vietnamese perspective that really has helped me flesh out and understand some of the information that we've been learning. But yeah, now we're in Ninh Binh. It is absolutely sweltering. As you can see, I'm just melting here. It was about 40 degrees today, so we spent a lot of it inside hiding in the aircon because I am very prone to heat stroke. But we are staying at this beautiful homestay, which is owned by a family. And yeah, they have like these cute little cabins. We are pretty much camping out in their backyard, and it's wonderful. And I finally got a little bit of reading done. So something that I did not really realize was how funny this book was gonna be, because it is like laugh out loud funny. It is hilarious. It is so raunchy, and the characterization is so good. It's just amazing. So we're following this guy. I'm gonna ask for help for like how to pronounce his name, because I don't currently know, and I know that I'm going to mispronounce it, but I would like to get that right for you. So we're following this guy, and he is like a vagabond. He's kind of poor. He moves from job to job. And when we first meet him, he is working at a tennis court collecting balls, primarily for like rich French colonists. And he sees this girl who's selling sugarcane, and he buys a bit of sugarcane from this girl, and he's like chewing it, and then he has a little bit of money left. So he goes to purchase his fortune and like get his fortune told from this fortune teller. And the fortune teller is like, you are going to be so like well off with the ladies. And this is hilarious because when he purchased sugarcane from the girl, we know that he's kind of like a perv and kind of a jerk and like not great to women, because he's like, oh, just put the change in my front pocket. And she's like, bleh, and throws the money on the ground and, you know, sends him kind of on his way. Then, you know, the fortune teller is like, oh, you're gonna do super well and like be quite comfortable with your work and stuff. And then he goes back to work, and he's like feeling really good about himself. And he spies on this woman while she's getting changed and gets discovered and like is immediately fired. And then he goes up and tries to like beat the fortune teller up. And he's like, you gave me a bad fortune. And then they get hauled into the like police. This is all in like the first 20 pages. And then he gets hauled into the police with the fortune teller, and they're like, what were you guys up to? And the fortune teller is like, well, it's in the future. Like, he could still have like a really good future. But I can see that you, Mr. Policeman, are, you know, gonna have like many children and be very successful and blah, 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 blah. And the policeman's like, this guy seems legit. I think this is he's really onto something here. Then a woman comes in the door, and we kind of get introduced to her earlier. And she's like, hey, come with me, main guy. I'm going to give you a job. And then the fortune teller's like, hey, see, I told you you're going to get a good deal here. And that's That's like the first 20 pages of the book. Like, I don't know if I did a great job explaining it, but it's so funny. And the way the dialogue is so snappy, I'm having a great time reading it. That's all I can say. I'm having a great time reading it. Yeah, I will check in with you again. I need to shower. I can feel like my hair sticking to my face and I just feel gross. I feel like I've been sweating all day, which is accurate. That's what I've been doing. So, talk to you again soon. Tomorrow, we are going to be floating around on a boat tour, a place called Tranang. Tranang? I don't know how to do that pronunciation either, but see you in the morning. Bye. So one of my favorite parts of this entire trip was going to Reaching Out Teahouse. This is completely run by people who have hearing and speech impairments, which limits their options in terms of their employment. This was a really exciting place for me to visit because I actually have a pretty significant hearing impairment. I'm completely deaf in one of my ears. While we're traveling, I tend to get hearing exhaustion really quickly because I can't localize sound and you have to really strain to hear all of that stuff. So this place was just like a serene refuge in the middle of a town that's pretty touristy, and they had wonderful little treats. I would completely recommend it to absolutely anybody who is interested in visiting Hoi An.
Okay, my mic is dead, so hopefully you're going to be able to hear me right. But this is our last day in Hoi An and in Vietnam in general. And I have also finished Dumb Luck. This book is so good. This is definitely one of the best books that I've read this year because we're just following, I think you say it, Shen, getting tied up in other people's like social schemes and dysfunction and silliness. And the result of all of that is that he's just getting pushed towards the top of Vietnamese colonial society. He's really using irony and satire to highlight the hypocrisy and the issues with colonial society, colonialization, capitalism in general, and questioning the sort of broad jump to adopt French values and like, was that really actually something that was a good decision or not, and like what does that mean to do that. I don't know. It was a really great book, and I think that it's something that you can enjoy whether you have context for it or not, like historical context or not. But I think having more context definitely does help some of the jokes land and stuff. But if you can get your hands on it, I really recommend it. I would love to read other books by this author, but this one in particular was just perfect for this length of my trip, like 1 week. It was about 200 pages. And like a huge chunk of this is also introduction. And each chapter is super short. It's like 6 to 10 pages, where each one is almost a short story, slice of life, panorama type of thing. So it's really easy to pick up, read a little bit, put it down, go to another coffee shop, read a little bit, don't touch the book for 2 days. I don't know, people are cleaning right now in the hotel, and we need to get ready to check out soon. And head back to Singapore, but just overall, I enjoyed this trip so much. I'm so glad we were able to finally come here, even though we were only able to hit a couple of cities. And as a tourist, it's always kind of limited. The ability to understand place is always somewhat limited, but I feel like fiction is one great way to kind of do that in terms of understanding what Vietnam's history was kind of like. It was super glamorous, because this is kind of an awful thing to say, but I was so taken by how glamorous this was. You the 1920s Great Gatsby. People are throwing parties, and he's working in a tailor shop and going to play tennis, and all of this high society type of thing. It was interesting to think about in context with also the prison that the French had, because a few times they referenced oh no, he's afraid he's going to go to prison, or he'll be a political prisoner. And having been to the prison in Hanoi, I can kind of imagine why he would be so stressed about that. Yeah, I think that things worked out really well in being able to pick up this novel. I think I've said that I enjoyed it and found it really funny 100 times throughout this video, but I hope that you give it a try. And if you have any kind of suggestions for Nibin's fiction or other books that you think will be really similar to this one, I would love to hear about them. And if you've read this book, let me know what your thoughts were, because I don't think that it's anywhere near as popular as it should be. So thank you so much to the viewer who recommended it to me. And if you've made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you again very soon in another video.